Hi and welcome to Office Fluent. My name is Jan, and today we're going to take a more in-depth look into OneNote, especially the OneNote for Windows 10 version. As you may or may not know from the last time, there are two versions of OneNote. One is OneNote for Windows 10, which comes pre-installed with every Windows 10 version, and the other one is OneNote 2019, which comes with the Office Suite. We're going to take a look only at the Windows 10 version for now, as it's far more accessible, and I hope I can help more people by giving a few tips and tricks on what you can do with it and how. Even though the 2019 version has a little bit more functionality, and we might get into comparison later on. Let's get going. As you can see, for this video I already created a new OneNote called OneNote Tutorial, and within this OneNote there is one section with one untitled page. So the first thing I want to take a look at is the structure of OneNote. So at the top level you have your OneNote. The OneNote app can open multiple OneNotes, so don't get confused by that. And within each OneNote, you have sections. You have one section to begin with, and then you can add new sections by either clicking here on Add Section, and you can already give it a name, or you can right-click and say New Section here. What you also can do is right-click and say New Section Group. With this, you can drag and drop sections within you have already into the section group, and it's not working, of course. And this way you can add a new layer of organization by already sorting sections in folders, you could say. And about the same you can do with pages. If I'm here in my tutorial section, I have one page. I can add new pages by clicking on Add New Page, or can right-click and add a new page here. And also here I can make subpages. I can just right-click on a page and say Make Subpage, and this way it moves below the page above, and I can close and hide all subpages but just by clicking on the arrow. I can also drag and drop pages if there's already a subpage. Now we have 5 levels of organization. We have the OneNote, we have the section groups, we have the sections, the page groups, and the pages. Alright, so now what can we do with this pages? Because that's where everything goes. Everything you can do within these pages can be found in these five tabs here. Home, Insert, Draw, View, and well, you can get some help information in the Help tab. So we're going to take a look at each of these tabs one by one, and at the end you should know nearly everything you can do with OneNote. Let's start with the Home tab. Here in the Home tab you have everything that's connected to text. What you know from pretty much any other text app, you can change your font, and you have all the Windows fonts at your disposal. You can change the font size, can make your text bold, italic, underline, highlight the text with different colors, change the color of your text with whatever color you like. You have like nearly every color to your disposal you could use. You have a format painter to copy the format from one part of the text to any other, and you can erase formatting. And also you can subscript, superscript, and strike through like you would expect. So how do we get text in here? Well, we just click anywhere. wherever you click, you're starting a new text box. So if I start writing, you can see there is a small box, and this box I can move. So this way, I'm not fixated on one text box like in Word. Well, you can also create columns there, but this is far more dynamic. So I can create, well, like pictures, like infographics and whatever I need without the need of a graphic design program, even if they're not going to be very nice looking. But yes, I can just start again here. And every time I do this, I create a new text box. But I can also click into a text box and add text here. That's not a problem. The other options I have here on top are bullets. So if I go here and say, yep, I need bullet points, no issue. And if I click enter after a bullet point, it's already expecting me to create another bullet. So I can add more here, or I can press enter again to get back into my original line. I can change bullets to whatever I need. So I, for example, love to work with the large hollow arrow bullets and with the check marks, just as a personal preference, but you can use whatever you like. And the same is true for the numbering options. So I can use a numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And I can also change this. If I don't like the normal numbers, I can change this to, for example, small i's. Then, of course, you have decrease indent and increase indent. I don't think I need to go over these very much. They're doing exactly the same they're doing everywhere else. And you can change the alignment from left, center, or right. What's really important and what you should make use of is this next block. It's tags. So what can you do with tags? You can see you can make something a to-do. You can mark something as important, as a question, as remember for later, as a definition, as regular task, and you can see tutorial task is not by default. This was created by create a new tag, and there you can just create your own tags. So if I go, for example, and say, I create a to-do list, and what do I need to do? Record this video and cut the video and upload the video. I'm very creative right now. Now I can go ahead and click on to do, or click Ctrl+1. And there's a trick. These are in a certain order. So to do is Ctrl+1, important is Ctrl+2, question is 3, and so on. So you can take a look what shortcuts these have. But I'm just adding my to-do tags to all of them. And if I can then go into search and look for the tag to do, I can find my to-dos here. And also, as I have it on all notebooks for the moment, I can also find all to-dos I have everywhere in all my notebooks that I have within this app. What I can also do is to click on one of these, and it's directly bringing me to the page, to the point where this to-do is created. And last but not least, at least for the to-do and tasks you can create, you can put a checkmark in there, which is really helpful because you can take care of your tasks within OneNote if you're using it for personal task definition and as a checklist. Just as a personal preference, I'd rather use Microsoft To Do for this, but there are people who like everything in OneNote more, so that's why I'm telling you. And last but not least, in the Home tab, you have the Dictate function. Before you click on Dictate, press on the small arrow and find your language. For example, if I'm dictating something in English, I need to press on English. If I would say something in German, it would make a lot more sense if I pressed on German because it makes it easier for OneNote to actually listen to what I'm saying. So if I click somewhere and click Dictate, this one, well, will take all the words I'm saying and put it into a text. It's not 100% accurate and it doesn't make full stops all the time, or rarely ever, but you can create some thought of, well, dictate system. You can create or pre-create scripts you want to use for a teleprompter, for example, and many more. And it's fairly accurate. It's not 100%, and you will always find some things that are, well, not that great, but hey, it's there. And we take what we get, right? To stop the dictate, just click on Dictate again, and you have your text you just spoken. All right, let's take a look at the next tab. So I just cleaned a bit up. Let's take a look at the Insert tab. This one is really, really, really powerful. First thing, you can create tables. Well, that's not the best thing. You can, for example, create a 7x5 or a 7x4 table, and it will just paste the table here, and you can enter whatever you like. Be aware that this is not Excel. There's no calculation in there. Okay, what you can also do is if you have a table somewhere prepared, for example, I have one here in Excel, I can just copy it from Excel and paste it here. And suddenly I have a very nice created table, which still is just a table. There's no calculation in here, even though it came from Excel. But you can use it to store your finished calculations in OneNote just by copy pasting it. By the way, OneNote 2019 has the functionality of using Excel tables within OneNote. This is one of the points where it really shines, but the OneNote for Windows 10 version doesn't. The next thing we have is File. You can just attach files from your computer to OneNote. Be aware that this file is completely added to the OneNote and also is available with the OneNote wherever you open the OneNote. This, on the other hand, increases the file size of the OneNote itself. So be prepared if you add like a lot of video files or audio files to your OneNote will get really big really fast. And as this is synchronized over the internet, typically, you can see here by the small cloud, you need to be aware that this synchronization process will take a long time if you add multiple gigabytes of data to the OneNote. So the better way to do it is to upload your videos to OneDrive and link it back to your OneNote for easier access. Then we have Printout. And Printout is a very interesting thing, I believe. For example, I did a talk about gamification at some point. So if I click here on Open, it will add all the slides I had in my presentation this is a PDF, to my OneNote. The same is possible if you have a PDF on your desktop, for example, or in some folder. You can just drag and drop it here, and it will ask you, what do you want to do with it? Upload to OneDrive and insert link. This is what I just talked about. Insert as an attachment, or insert as a printout. And I'm clicking on insert as a printout, and there we have all the Excel workshop I did some years ago as pages within OneNote. So what can you do with that? And I think it's really important to talk about that because I think it's one of the most useful applications for OneNote. I personally use it to create pages for traveling. For traveling, you typically have multiple things you get via email or via download. For example, reservations for a hotel or a B&B. You have your train tickets. You have maybe some time plans. You might have downloaded a brochure or something. So you can also add all of these things into one page and have it all on hand wherever you are, as you can sync your OneNote to your mobile. This way it's really easy to have like all the information, all the QR codes you might need just in your pocket without, well, printing it all out. The next thing we have here is pictures. I think that's very self-explanatory. For example, I can also drag and drop a picture in here and it will get displayed. It's easy as that. And what also is possible is online video. You can click here on View Supported Video to see what sources are supported. But one of the sources that are definitely supported is YouTube, for example. So I have a YouTube link here from one of my other videos. And now I have the whole video as a link. So this is not available if you're offline, but you can watch the whole video here in OneNote. Which is really useful in case you have, for example, a tutorial for something and you want it within a page to work with that parallel. Of course, you also have the options to just add a link. So if I wanted to type out a link completely, and just display it with a short text, I can do that. And yes, it will bring me to Google if I click on it. I don't think I need to demonstrate that. And you can also add audio. This is the record audio functionality, which works similar to the dictate function on the homepage. But instead of transcribing what you say, it will just record the audio and place the audio file within OneNote. Here again, if you create a lot of audio files within OneNote, your file size of the OneNote will just blow up at some point. One thing I find very useful, on the other hand, is the part meeting details. OneNote is a prime example for a tool that can be used for creating meeting minutes. And Microsoft also considers OneNote to be the meeting minute tool, at least for corporate use. So if you click here on meeting details, there will open a tab with all your meetings you have at this day. And I created one that called tutorial event, and I just added in. And let's move it over here. So this takes all the information about this event from Outlook or your calendar app, depending on what you have connected to the Windows 10 OneNote. And I can click here on expand. And here on expand. And you can see I have no invitation message. So there is nothing in there. But I have invited myself with another email address. So I can see all the participants who have been invited and can, for example, check them if they're there. Last but not least, we have a few math components. We can add symbols. We can add equations. And this is really powerful if you're into math or want to create like a worksheet for your kids. You can do nearly everything. At least I didn't find anything that's not possible. And we get to that in a second too. We take a look at the math in a second. And we have stickers, because everybody needs some stickers or koala bears. All right. So what is with this Math tab? It says you can convert, solve, and graph math equations, which is really powerful. If you're a student and don't like your math homework, you can just type it in here. For example, if I type x to the power of 2, and then I click on math, and I select an action, for example, evaluate. And it's just giving me x to the power of 2. I can also differentiate, and I get all the steps I need. Or I can integrate and get all the steps I need. And this is like very high mathematics. What I can also do is I can type, all right, y is x to the power of 2, and I can solve for y, I can solve for x, I can graph both sides, and I can graph in 2D. Well, this is the graph for y, which is very much not useful, but I can graph both sides. And now I have here my parable. Parable? I think it's parable. So this is really, really useful for many people who want to make their lives a little bit easier or get functions they need to graphically show. And where we are at the point of students, you have the researcher tab here, where you can use the Bing search engine within OneNote to get information about certain people, theories, locations, whatever, and enter them as links. For example, if I search for OneNote, I get relevant topics, and I can get websites. For example, the support on Microsoft.com. If I wanted to quote them, I can just add them to the list by clicking the Add to Page, and there I get the link with the title already on my page, and I can always refer back to them. Okay, next up, let's take a look at the Draw tab. The Draw tab is most useful if you can work with a pen on your PC. For example, if you have a touchpad, a Microsoft Surface, for example, or you have a graphic tablet you can use in combination with your PC, because then you can use OneNote to work with that. If you only have your mouse, it's not that nice. But you have a collection of pens and pencils here, and you can add new, and you can select them, and you can also change colors or thickness or whatever you need. And then you can use this to draw on your canvas. Of course, typically you're not going to be drawing smileys, but for example, if I have text here and I have text here, I could use the Draw tab to show a connection between these two texts. Just as a very theoretical example. You can also always use the eraser to delete whole lines. And you can also say, hey, I want instead a small eraser or a large eraser and not the stroke eraser I'm using here. Alright, that's about it for the pens. If you have a graphic tablet, please try it out. I sadly don't have any right now, otherwise I would show you, but that's it. You can also add shapes. So for example, if you want to show the connection with a nicer arrow, you can just use the arrow here found in shapes. You can also show graphs or basic shapes. There's just a default collection of shapes you can use. And what you also can do is click on Ink to Shape, which is again not that nice if you only work with a mouse, but there are some people who really want to make nice circles or rectangles. No? There. And last but not least, what you can do with the Draw tab is, again, math. So if I'm writing, and now it's getting critical because I need to write somewhat nice, I can select it with the Select tool and then click on Ink to Text. And you can see this is not what I wanted. Or I can click on Math, which actually finds what I wanted to say. And then again, I can make the graph in 2D. It's easy as that. Okay, that's pretty much everything I wanted to show you in the Draw tab. Like I said, it's a very, very useful tab as an addition to the other tabs if you have a graphic tablet or a touchscreen. But it's not as useful if you're only working with mouse and keyboard. Let's take a look at View. In the View tab, we also have a few nice options we can use. First of all, I can click on New Window. And New Window will just open a new window in OneNote or of OneNote for me on the same desktop. That allows me to work on two different pages at once. For example, to compare data or to copy things I've seen on one to the other. The next thing is an Immersive Reader, which can just read the text you wrote for you, which is very much an accessibility feature. Then we have Zoom Out and Zoom In, which you can also do by holding Control and using your mouse wheel. You can set the zoom to 100% just to reset it. And you can say page width. This will just focus the width of the page to whatever is written. In this case, it's only the header here. So I'm going back to 100%. Then you have the option of page coloring. By default, this will pretty much appear all white, but there are slight colors there. So you will see if I change the color here, it will change a little bit, but not too much. If you want a lot more contrast, you need to click on more colors, and then you have all the colors you could want to have. For example, I could use dark gray as a background. Please be aware that this will not by default change the color of your text. So if you have black text and choose a very dark background, you will not see much. Then you have rule lines. You can, for example, use lines on your page or use a grid. This is very nice if you want to create your own journaling book, for example, and want some lines or some grid there and want to print it out after. By the way, if you want to print a page, you can click on these 3 buttons and say print. The next section is deleted notes. If I click here, you can see a lot of deleted sections and a lot of deleted pages. These are all pages I deleted while doing this tutorial, so there's nothing I really want to restore it, but you can see right-click or tap and hold on a page or section to restore it. After 60 days, they will be gone. If you want to get back to your real pages, just click on deleted notes again, and that's it. And then let's talk about the translate feature. I have a list of very random German words I will just put in here, mark them, and click on translate. Translate selection. And you can see German was detected, it's translating to English, and now I can insert and have my very random English words here. All right. The next thing is we can check for accessibility. This will check the document if this is useful or if this is optimized for accessibility features like the Immersive Reader. For example, if all pictures do have an alt text. And last but not least, replay and hide authors is mostly for collaboration features. So if you work with somebody else on the document, you will see a small bar next to every text who has written this, and you can hide the authors with this button. All right. Last but not least, we have the help bar. This is pretty much what you expect. You have the help feature, you can send feedback, and what I think is quite interesting is you can click on show training and you get a row of video training series from Microsoft about OneNote you can take a look at if you like to. Other than that, I hope you got a good overview of what you can do with OneNote and what you can't. And please keep in mind, OneNote is all about your creativity. If you know what you want to do, OneNote can probably help you with that. And if it can't, you don't need to use it. Personally, I think this is one of the greatest tools we have in the Office suite or in Windows 10 now. And I'm very happy that it's there and that we can use it. So in this case, thanks everyone for watching. If you liked what I showed you, please leave a like, or don't if you didn't. Come back for more videos on OneNote, on Teams, on collaboration and efficiency. And I'll see you next week. Bye.